Hey guys, Josh here from Mixing Mango, and today I wanted to talk a bit about the Kalphite King. So first off, I just want to say, in terms of when this is being released, I cannot say, because the behind the scenes came out on Friday, and I thought that would mean that next week it would be released, so on Tuesday, but apparently in one of the comments, a JMod replied and said that it will be released in a couple of weeks. So this means that it could actually come out in the end of the month. So I'm not quite sure, but it does look like a really good update, so I thought I'd talk a bit about it. So this is going to be the hardest boss in the game. It'll be harder than Nex, it'll be harder than the Queen Black Dragon, and it'll have the highest combat level out of any boss. It's going to take the full use of the EOC, because I'm not sure if it will use abilities, but it's been designed. It keeps coming up. Right, just close it down. Yeah, so it's been designed to to use like everything in the EOC, and so it takes into account like the new defense and how players have defensive abilities, and they can like reflect damage and heal up. So it's really going to be a very tough boss to defeat, and it would be cool if it does use abilities and also prayers. That would be nice to see, but from the behind the scenes it doesn't seem to use abilities or prayers. But obviously that's not the whole boss. They couldn't have shown everything, I hope. So maybe there are some stuff that we haven't seen yet. So as for the attacks that we've seen in the behind the scenes, actually before I go into that, I'll just say this is behind the scenes for January, and I'll quickly swap to this one. This is the behind the scenes for the Kalphite King. There's not much on it, so I'll just switch back to this one. And if you haven't read it, I really would, because it tells you quite a bit about it. But so that's just what's on the screen at the moment. So as for the attack scene, it can spawn Kalphites, and I think it spawns 5 Kalphites, which are magic, and so that's, I don't know, that could be a fairly easy attack to beat, just have to range it. We'll see. It also has an area of attack, and I think this is a magic attack as well, and it like shoots out some magic orbs that hit everyone, and I think you can be hit by up to like 3 orbs, and they do like 2k damage each, so that's quite a deadly attack. And I mean, if that's followed by another attack, you could be eating quite a bit or even die. And one of the other attacks I saw was this extremely strong, I think it's a melee attack, and I think already this shows that we're going to need range and probably magic. Well, we're definitely going to need range if we want to beat these magic Kalphites, and also maybe like magic for extra strength, or we might even need all 3 combat styles. But this melee attack, first of all, it hit over 10,000, and it downed a guy in full Torva in 1 hit. So that is an extremely strong attack. There was also another clip where it hit like 9,000 and also just downed that guy instantly as well. So this is the most damaging attack we've ever seen. It has the ability to 1-hit any player, and this guy was, I'm assuming, maxed, and he had full Torva on, so he's basically maxed 5-point boosts, and he got 1-hitted by the Kalphite King. So it's definitely going to be extremely hard, and we're going to have to learn how to dodge these attacks or counter them. So that's interesting to see. And the final thing was the requirements. So the mod in the video said this is the hardest boss, and you're going to need 10-man teams. So already we know that's, well, it's clearly going to be hard. I mean, Nex, you can duo, possibly even solo, and I mean, like, trios are kind of the main thing, I reckon, and they're fairly easy. This is 10-man, so it's definitely going to be hard. I reckon once we get new weaponry, once we get this Kalphite weaponry and also new armor, we could probably downgrade that the community will find a way to get that down to maybe like 5 people. But I mean, a 5-man team may be the minimum in the future that you need to kill this thing, because it does look insanely hard. They also said you need 80 plus stats and the gears to go along with that level. So essentially that means you need 80 plus and all combat stats, and I'm guessing you're going to need turmoil and overloads and 99 summoning for a yak or steel titan, but also you're going to need full next gear because that's level 80, and also chaotics for whichever style is needed because that's also level 80. So that also gives a use to next sets and will give a use to the player import armor when it comes out. I mean, I know next sets are getting a set effect, so that could definitely boost the price and also make it a lot more useful for the Kalphite King. But I mean, I think the next sets will go up a bit because they are currently definitely needed for the Kalphite King. Before I talk about chaotics, I just remembered the mod did say that if you had more people you could probably lower the stats and requirements, but really you want a 10-man team with 80 plus stats and gear. That's probably the best thing. And as for chaotics, I don't think you get away with anything else really. I mean, you could probably try using God War's gear, but it just won't do really. You really do want chaotics here. People are saying chaotics will become worthless after this and useless, but I really don't see that being the case, because firstly you need chaotics to defeat the boss, and after a few months we'll have this new Kalphite weaponry which is level 90, so it'll be better than chaotics. But the thing is, this weaponry will probably be hundreds of millions of GPs, even billions of coins. I mean, this isn't going to be cheap weaponry. It's level 90, it's dropped from the hardest boss, and we don't even know the drop rate, so it's only a very small percentage of players will be able to afford this weaponry, I reckon. And it might not even be tradable. It might be you have to get it from a boss, because they did say you have to kill Kalphites to get a drop to repair it, so that's kind of interesting. But I don't think everyone will be able to afford this weaponry, and I think chaotics will definitely be what most people will need firstly to kill it, and they will also keep their chaotics because they won't be able to get this new weaponry. And it's kind of a stepping stone, because for most bosses you'd want chaotics, and then if you get the the stats and get lucky at the boss, you can also pick up this new equipment to sort of upgrade. So it'll be sort of how you go from God War's weaponry to chaotics. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. The Kalphite King looks really interesting, so I do want to do it one day, but I'm definitely nowhere near the requirements. I've got to do a lot of dungeon, a lot of probably nexing in the future to be able to actually afford full nex sets. But the boss does look interesting, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later.